Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q4 FY22 earnings conference call of Dilip Buildcon Limited, hosted by Axis Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Jiten Rushi from Axis Capital. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Margaret. Good evening. On behalf of Axis Capital Limited, I welcome everyone to the Dilip Buildcon Limited Q4 FY22 earnings conference call. From the management side, we have with us Mr. Devendra Jain, Executive Director and CEO, Mr. Rohan Suryavanshi, Strategy and Planning, Head Strategy and Planning, and Mr. Radheshyam Garg, Chief Financial Officer. We also have Investor Relations team of Accenture in the call. To begin with, we will have opening remarks from the management, followed by Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jiten ji. Good evening to all. It's great to have all of you with us today. I sincerely hope that all of you are safe and in good health. So let me first begin by welcoming all our investors and our partners to this conference call for the quarter ending 31st March 2022. It is a great honor and pleasure for me to be able to host this call and to inform our partners of all the latest developments in this quarter and our plans moving forward. Let me also apologize right now for the delay right now in the results that you guys had very small time to look at it. But the presentation and the results have been uploaded, and I hope you guys will also refer to it when you ask any questions. Let me now start with, firstly, an economy update. The world, as we know, has faced major challenges this year due to geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine and the continuation of COVID in various countries. So the combined effect of war and pandemic has exacerbated a rise in crude oil prices, which in turn has fueled inflation. As a consequence, businesses, trade, manufacturing, infrastructure, and employment opportunities have all been severely impacted. So obviously, to try and fight the situation, the Indian government has taken various measures. The biggest concern, obviously, right now for everyone is to tame the rising inflation, and which is affecting both individuals and businesses. A 7.8% increase in retail inflation and a 15% increase in wholesale prices in April reflect the rising input costs. Key raw materials are in short supply, and the supply lines themselves are stressed, adding to inflationary pressures. As a remedial measure, the government has announced, excise cuts to sort of soften this blow. Not only the national government, but even the various state governments have also announced reduction taxes. Also, the government has tried to basically keep a check on this inflationary pressure by reducing custom duty on key raw materials while increasing duty on exports of certain other items. And in tandem with the government, the RBI also announced a hike in interest rates. RBI also hiked the cash reserve ratio by 50 basis points. And as per the RBI governor, more rate hikes are highly likely considering the current scenario. The markets are expecting a rate hike between 35-50 bips in the upcoming RBI's MPC meet, as per a recent Reuters poll. So all in all, although the government is taking various measures on all fronts to curb the persistent inflation, continued efforts are needed in order to break through. In the short term, the scenario remains challenging on the back of tepid growth, rising inflation, supply disruptions from geopolitical spillovers, and financial market volatility. Now moving on to the infrastructure sector update. An influx of new projects were awarded at the end of FY22, continuing the general trend of the past years. As a result, your company received substantial inflows of orders, majority of which is accounted for by the road sector. In total, in the road sector, project awarding grew by 22% to 12731 kilometers in FY21-22. The length of road projects awarded by the NHAI and the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways increased by more than double to 5,113 kilometers in March 22. This was almost 6 times as much as the previous month. So although project awarding has improved over the previous fiscal year, project implementation has slowed down due to the COVID pandemic, raw material constraints, labor shortage, financial challenges, and delayed government payments. Unseasonal rains in multiple geographies coupled with cyclones during peak working season also resulted in marked slowdown in the construction activities. It was also impacted by COVID second wave across India. An increase in input prices contributed to further slack in construction. Therefore, the earlier delay couldn't get compensated, and this resulted in a productivity downturn. Highway construction fell by a fifth year-on-year at 29 kilometers per day. This was significantly lower than the goal of 40 kilometers per day set at the beginning of fiscal year, which obviously was revised in November, December to 33 kilometers a day. But this final figures have come lower than even the revised expectations of the government. The NHAI was unable to reach the required 12,000 kilometers envisaged last year due to pandemic-related delays and exceptionally prolonged wet season, although it awarded a record number of highways to be constructed, like I earlier explained. But all in all, the government has put a lot of emphasis in infrastructure spending since it has a multiplier effect on the economy. In the budget as well, the government announced a 35% increase in the capital expenditure, which took the total outlay to rupees 7.5 trillion for FY23 compared to the rupees 5.5 trillion in FY22. There have been further steps that the government has taken. They have improved and simplified the new hybrid annuity model. There has also been growth in agricultural loans, in infrastructure loans. And there has also been gradual improvement in bad loans, which reflects a progressive recovery of the sector and enhances future prospects. Now, updates about the company. I'm very pleased to announce that we've completed 12 projects in FY22 worth rupees 81,599 million. These projects were completed across different geographies. I'm also very happy to announce that we have won 5 new projects in 3 sectors worth rupees 78,110 million. These are projects that were won till March 22. Besides this, we have won 2 more HAM projects worth rupees 29,310 million after March 22, which has not been included in the order book as of March 22. So the order book standing as of March 22 is 2,55,945 million rupees. And this comprises 45% from the road sector and 55% from other sectors. Now moving from business to financial performance. Revenue for quarter 4 22 was rupees 25062 million, which is lower than last year's performance. EBITDA for quarter 4 22 was rupees 2368 million. The depressed EBITDA margin has been on account of the reasons that we have explained earlier as well. The older projects that we were executing from 2018 onwards have all gotten extended. The time period has extended, has been 50%, and hence the additional costs of manpower, equipment have all gone up by 50%, and these additional fixed overheads have taken into our EBITDA margin. Besides this, there has been an increase in material prices like cement, bitumen, diesel, steel, and aggregates, all by almost 50% on average. Hence these numbers that we mentioned earlier as well. Moving on, the finance cost has decreased by 4.99% in quarter 4 FY22 on a YOY basis. However, profit after tax has decreased in quarter 4 FY22 on account of decrease in EBITDA. Now let me take you through some important items of the balance sheet. Expenditure on fixed assets is rupees 120 million in Q4 22, and in total it was rupees 1450 million in the full year 22. Inventory has increased marginally in the Q4 by rupees 346 million from the previous quarter. Debtors have decreased to rupees 10380 million in Q4 22 from rupees 15041 million in the Q3 22. This is on account of better collection. Decrease in loans given is mainly on account of repayment of loans given to SPVs created for HAM projects. Net debt equity ratio has decreased to 0.63 in Q4 FY22 vis-a-vis 0.73 in Q3 FY22, and in absolute terms it has decreased by rupees 4068 million. Happy to report that. Similarly, also happy to report that working capital days have decreased to 89 days as of Q4 22 vis-a-vis 102 days as of Q3 22. So these are the main points. I open the floor for question and answers. Please feel free to see our presentation and ask whatever questions you might have.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you, sir. Couple of questions. First, so now how much? So first, coming to the guidance. So what's our guidance on top line margin, particularly because previously we were saying that now once the things get normalized, we will have a 13-14% EBITDA margin. So for the full year FY23, what's the revenue guidance margin? How much total order inflow that are we looking at?
Thank you for your question, Shravanji. The total revenue guidance that we think we should be doing somewhere in the zip code of about rupees 10,000 crores for this financial year. And the revenue and the EBITDA guidance remains around that range only, 13 to 14 that we had indicated last time as well. These are obviously subject to what kind of sort of raw material prices and other things we might foresee, but this is what we're envisaging. Obviously, the Q1 and Q2 will be tepid because we still are completing our older projects, but we should start seeing improvement as we go forward from there.
Okay, and the last was on the order inflow. So first a clarification, what is the value excluding GST for FY22? So 7,811 is the including GST, and the 2 HAM 2931 crore, that is also including GST. So what's the value excluding GST?
So sir, firstly, order inflow guidance, even last year we had mentioned about 8 to 10,000 crores of new orders. Even for this same year, we will have a similar kind of order inflow guidance. And as for the minus the GST value,
yeah, so order value for 7,800 crore excluding GST is around 6,500 crore. And as far as this 2,900 crore value is considered, that is the BPC. So EPC excluding GST will be around 2,000 crores.
Okay, 2,000 odd crores. Okay, so now coming to the two important questions. So first, in terms of the debt reduction, that's the good thing that has happened. So in terms of so debtors actually has reduced significantly. So last time, if I look at in last December 20 to March 21, there also we have seen a 400 crore kind of a debtor reduction, and then again it has bounced back. So the kind of debtors days now we have, that is a 42 days. So will it also start inching up again in the June, September, December quarter? And in terms of the date, how do we see? So there also I need a clarification that the infra holding, how much we have raised there. So because that is also kind of a date at standalone. So if you can help me, and what was the number there, and how do we see the date by end of FY23?
So Shravanji, first thing you asked about the debtors. Okay, so debtors generally keep in moving from 40 to 50 days, and there is no control on the 3-4 days, 5 days delay. So that is why when you are making the balance sheet, it is as on date. So sometimes it happens that the debtors are realized after 4-5 days. So, but it will be moving in the range of 40 to 50 days. This is what we have given earlier also, and right now also I'm saying the same thing. As far as debt reduction, DBL infra is concerned, so debt remains the same which was there in the last quarter. December, there is no further debt raising in the DBL infra. And as far as debt reduction in the standalone is concerned for this financial year, it will be in the range of 300 to 400 crore.
So 300 to 400 crore from this current 3072 crores we are looking at.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay. And if you can repeat the value for DBL infra, what was the date that we have raised? So what's the number as on March?
702 crores.
702 crores. Okay. And in terms of the because we got the presentation late, so pardon me if I'm repeating any of the questions which is already there in the presentation, so I was not able to go through in detail. Okay, we have already mentioned in terms of the equity investment projection is already there. That's it from my side for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you, Shravanji.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Nirmalya Saha from E4 Equity. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening all. I have two specific questions. If you remember last year, September quarter, due to an accident in one of your road projects, NHAI had suspended awarding any new projects to the company. So I would like to have an update on that. Where do you stand? And question number 2 is that last year during the December time frame, there were some, bribery charges against some key personnel, and there were some raids happened on the premises. So where do you stand on that? These are the two specific questions.
Thank you for your question, sir. As per the unfortunate accident that occurred on one of our sites, Anandpuram Anakapalli, whatever action had been taken by the government, we were eligible to bid, and from October onward we've been winning and we've been bidding and winning projects. Also happy to announce that we've also completed that project now. So the PCOD is also being gotten in that project. So that is for that. So that project also has a provisional completion certificate from the agency. And the second part, you asked about the agency action and the unfortunate charges that were alleged against the company. We continue to contest those charges, and the matter is now sub judice. So as for wherever there are any updates on that, we will update the market accordingly.
Mr. Saha, we cannot hear you. Sorry, Mr. Saha.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. We lost your audio there, sir, so if you can repeat your question.
Okay, so I was just trying to get a confirmation that there is no problem in getting a new projects from National Highway right now. I mean, the suspension is revoked, right, for the company?
Yes, sir, there is no problem. I repeat again, there is no problem getting, and we have one significant order from the National Highway Authority of India, which is there mentioned in our presentation as well. These are all projects won after that incident.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Alok Diora from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Just a couple of questions. So, sir, one was on how is the competitive intensity now in road projects? And also, if you could just reiterate the order inflow guidance for FY23.
Sir, obviously, as you're all aware, the competitive intensity in the industry had increased tremendously over the course of this year, primarily due to certain COVID-related benefits that the government had given, where they reduced the guarantees asked by developers and also the qualification criteria, the previous security. So obviously, all those caused a lot of pain in between in the sector. Even DBL on its part, we had bid for almost 105 plus projects, while we won only 5 or 6 projects. So you can imagine the kind of competitive intensity that the market had. Good thing is now the government has understood that that round the way that they had gone down was not right, and they have brought back the pre-bid securities and all. So in the recent HAM project, if you ask me specifically, there has been reduced competition. Now we are seeing 6 to 8 players, which had gone up to almost 15 to 18 players in between. So now we've seen that reduction coming. The EPC projects still continue to have more competitive intensity, but given the high order book that a lot of the smaller players also have, we expect this to remain all right and not as high as it was last year. So that was. And in terms of order guidance, I mentioned that 8 to 10,000 crores of new orders we will be targeting at least.
Sure. And sir, we have won a lot of these projects in Q4 and even in post Q4. So we have all seen the delays in receiving appointed date in projects. So based on this, based on these orders, what's the revenue guidance we have for FY23, and how confident are we of receiving the appointed date in time for the pending projects?
So the revenue guidance, like I mentioned earlier, is around, we are targeting around 10,000 crores. Now, obviously, this is subject to caveats around, hopefully we will not see any more COVID, sort of related lockdowns or any other such disruptions happening or any other large disruptions. In terms of, those projects getting started on time, the expectation that we as a builder always have that the project will start on time because we start deploying our resources, our people, our equipment on the site on time. However, there is no control over what the government is finally able to hand over the amount of land that it needs to do and all the other sort of things that condition present that it needs to fulfill. So while we remain positive and we try to do all our work, we actually have zero control over how it will pan out. So whatever we tell you today, the guidance is based on our expectation of how things should pan out. So that's basically what I can sort of say to you. Here and there, if there are certain delays, monsoon goes longer, if there are other delays, so obviously we will have to account for it as the year progresses. Right now, as sitting today, since I can't change the future, I can just give you these sort of analysis and scenarios that we have.
Sure. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prem Khurana from Anand Rathi Shares. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question, sir. So my question was with respect to our cash flows. I think in your opening remark or answer to some of, the earlier participant, you were made to believe that, you're looking at another around 300 to 400 odd crore rupees of reduction in net debt in FY23. So when I look at this number and also kind of consider that we have equity requirement of almost 850 odd crore rupees. So I think the business would need almost around 1,100-1,200 odd crore rupees, right? I mean, this is assuming, I mean, you won't get to see any change in your working capital requirements. I mean, it'll stay the same. So if you could let us know, how do we intend to kind of meet this 1,200 odd crore rupees of requirement that would be there in FY23? And if you could also help us understand where are we in terms of our asset monetization efforts, especially on the InvIT side, the stream InvIT.
So Prem, coming on to your question, around 600 to 700 crore will be our cash profit for the coming financial year FY23, and then there will be inflow from the Cube also in the around 150 crore, and there will be the inflow from the remaining that unsecured loan repayment by the SHREM, which is around 150 crore. So 150 means it is in the range of 150 to 170 crore. So put together this, and then there is equity requirement of around 780 crores. If you reduce this will nullify, and then we will be having the units of the InvIT. So we have that InvIT unit, so we have an option to raise fund against the InvIT units basically. So we can either sell the units or we can raise funds which will be under a self-funded structure. So these are the options available with the company, and InvIT will start receiving the units of the InvIT maybe from the June end or early July. So with the completed assets, so out of the 10 assets which we are transferring to SHREM InvIT, out of that 10 assets, 5 assets are already completed, and we are in the process of receiving the NOCs from the respective lenders, and post that we'll be approaching to NHI for the NOC for transfer the asset to the InvIT and the allotment of the units against the same.
Sure. Just, I mean, if you could refresh us, I mean, how much of money has already come from SHREM InvIT during the quarter? I think we've received some amount, right?
Yeah, 450 crores we have already received.
Okay. So essentially, I mean, the reduction that we've seen during the quarter, I mean, this money would have had a role to play in the 300, 400 odd crore rupees of reduction that we've seen in terms of debt in this quarter, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dollar Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you again, sir. Sir, capex for this year, how much are we looking at?
Capital expenditure you are asking for guidance for the capital expenditure?
Yes.
There will not be any capex, but the normal capex of 5-10 crore which will happen in the FY23. Otherwise, we are not making any capital expenditure.
Sorry, normal capex of how much?
10 crores.
Sorry, sir, 100 crore.
5 to 10 crore.
Okay, 5 to 10 crore. Okay, got it. And nothing pending from the last year FY22 that we will be spending in FY23?
Nothing. There is.
Okay. And sir, what is the retention, mobilization advance and unbilled revenue as on March?
So retention money is around 774 crore. Mobilization advance is around 180 crore, 1080. And third, you asked about unbilled revenue. It is around 1100 crore.
Mobilization advance is 180 crore.
Not 1080.
1080. Okay, 1080. Okay. Got it. And sir, in terms of the order inflow that we are looking at 8 to 10,000 crores, so this is in terms of broad. If somebody wants to look at it, would be definitely from the road. But in terms of the HAM, how much more are we looking at HAM and any others metro or other sectors where you want to specify anything?
Sir, obviously the order inflow that we're saying is across all the sectors that we look at and that we work in. It's not possible to give you an exact breakup of what and how we will win and how much we will target. But that is the broad numbers that we are looking at. In terms of HAM and EPC, our target obviously continues to be EPC, but we will take a call based on how the competitive analysis and the competitive situation in the sector looks. So those things will and may alter our bidding strategy as we go across the year.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jiten Rushi from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So my first question on the CPPIB. So as you said, we've raised 700 crores so far, and we have the option of raising around almost 995 to 1,000 crores. So where are we in this? Are we going to raise any more money this year fully, or we are not going to raise anything other than this so far?
Yeah, Jiten. So further drawdown is at the discretion of the company. So most however, as we had explained, drawdown is linked to the equity investment in the underlying subsidiary. So that point of time, as per the agreed LTV, we had already made the drawdown. So now in the coming financial year, if we feel that if there is a requirement, then we will draw. Otherwise, it is at our discretion to draw or not to draw.
Okay, so now as of now, it's 702 crore, and we are closing at it as of now, which was the criteria as per the agreement.
It is not the closure, but I'm saying it is open, but it is subject to the company's discretion.
Okay. We have the option, but subject to the company. And sir, on the Cube deal, so the assets which we have, so when are we expecting the final closure of the Cube deal, sir? Because you said that
in the month of June, because now we'll be completing 6 months from the COD of each of the projects. Yeah. So that threshold is being met, and now the final closure is in the process. In one of the SPVs, in fact, we have already received the NHA approval also for the transfer of remaining equity. And in other 2 SPVs, we are in the process of receiving the NHA approval. So once that is received, so we'll be transferring the balance 51% equity in each of the SPVs.
Okay, so now what is the balance left from Cube? You said 150 crore, right?
Approximately between 145 to 150 crores. Somewhere.
Okay, so that is the final for the balance stake.
Yes.
And sir, on the irrigation project of Gujarat, so we are still lagging in terms of execution. So what is stopping us from ramping up the execution in the irrigation project? The Badu Barrage project?
Now it is progressing well. Now there is no problem. So it has taken well in this quarter and Q4, and it is progressing well in this current quarter also, Q1 FY23. There is nothing holding back up.
It was basically lagging because of excessive rainfall. So that situation is now over. So during the current quarter, the operations have ramped up. So it is expected and current. Yeah.
So this rainfall can come again also, that's not in our control actually.
So rainfall, it is beyond control of anybody. No? So last year, the rainy season extended till November, even till end of November. So that was the primary reason that we could not clock revenue in this particular project. But for starting Q4, the revenue have normalized, and in Q1 also, the situation is expected to normalize, and steadily it is rising.
And sir, based on the presentation, which I can see that we are expecting appointed date for 5 projects as per timeline mentioned. So if we get the appointed date as per the timeline mentioned, what kind of revenue contribution we can expect from these projects in FY23 in terms of percentage?
For individual project-wise guidance is very difficult actually.
Total I'm asking. I know, I understand that. Broadly, motamoti, if you can expect 200 crore, 500 crores, that way.
5 projects also put together is very difficult. 10,000 crore guidance you have given for the FY23, which will be confident, based on the current situation. So giving the project group-wise, it is very difficult.
And sir, last question on current outstanding bid pipeline in terms of NHI project where we have bid for and we are expecting any opening of the bids soon. Can you highlight that, sir?
So right now the 40,000 crore is in the pipeline, and 50% HEM project and 50% EPC project.
Any bids made by us, sir, in this?
Yeah. We are there in all 40,000 crore.
So these bids are already closed. We already participate in this 40,000 crore, right, sir?
It is not closed. It has been floated. 40,000 crore.
So anything which is already been submitted?
Right now, nothing is pending for the opening of the bids.
Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you and all the best for the new financial year. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kanpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Sir,
Mr. Kanpal, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your audio is not very clear. May I request you to come on the handset mode and be a bit louder?
Is it better now? Hello.
Yes, this is better.
So my first question is on, you said that first and second quarter will also be muted. So just wanted to understand out of the total order book, how much is the balance order book of the legacy project, which was you have won in 2018?
Parikshit, sorry, but there is some disturbance. We are not able to hear you clearly, so we could not hear you what you have asked.
तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि लेगेसी प्रोजेक्ट में अभी हमारे ऑर्डर बुक में लेगेसी प्रोजेक्ट जो आप बोल रहे थे ना 2018 में है, तो हाउ मच विल बी दोस ऑर्डर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑर्डर बैकलॉग?
So it is in the range of 700 to 800 crore.
और इन प्रोजेक्ट्स में मार्जिन क्या होंगे सर? व्हाट विल बी द मार्जिन इन दिस प्रोजेक्ट?
परीक्षित जी, क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर कभी हमारा मार्जिन का गाइडेंस नहीं था, हम आपको ईयर ऑन ईयर का गाइडेंस दे रहे हैं कि कैसे क्या सकता है. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू ब्रेक अप एंड से कि क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर कैसे चलेगा, नहीं होगा.
बट कॉस्ट ऑफ कंप्लीशन में कितना लाइक 700 करोड़ का अगर प्रोजेक्ट बचा हुआ है तो आपको उसमें खर्चा लाइक कॉस्ट ऑफ कंप्लीशन के हिसाब से आपने असेसमेंट किया होगा, जिसमें कितना शॉर्टफॉल आ रहा है, जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड लाइक फ्रॉम विच क्वार्टर वी विल स्टार्ट सीइंग दैट 15%, 14-15% मार्जिन कमिंग बैक. तो एक पहला क्वेश्चन है कि दोनों प्रोजेक्ट ये 700 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट कितने टाइम में होंगे, बाय व्हेन इट विल गेट कंप्लीटेड, एंड व्हाट इज द शॉर्टफॉल इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉस्ट कंप्लीशन एट करंट कमोडिटी प्राइसेस इन दिस ऑर्डर बुक?
सर देखिए, अभी भी जो पूरे टोटल प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट होने हैं यहाँ से भी, तो भी मेरे को लग रहा है 2 से 3 महीना तो मिनिमम लगेगा ही लगेगा कंप्लीट होने में. तभी मैंने आपको फर्स्ट और सेकंड क्वार्टर बोला था कि इनका इम्पैक्ट रहेगा. नाउ एज पर आप जो प्राइसेस पूछ रहे हो कि मटेरियल प्राइसेस हैज बीन वेरी वोलेटाइल. इवन अभी राइट नाउ बिफोर द रिसेंट गवर्नमेंट इंटरवेंशन प्राइसेस वर गोइंग थ्रू द रूफ. So for me to give you an accurate idea right now is a little difficult. But and also like I said, हमने आपको year on year का दिया, तो मैं quarter on quarter का तो आपको नहीं बोल सकता कि कैसे आएगा या नहीं आ पाएगा. Neither have we done it in the past, nor do we have those numbers available कि right now मैं आपको एकदम off the cuff बता दूँ कि कैसे कैसे चलेगा. But I'm telling you कि जो हमने आपको broad range दिया था कि because of these legacy projects they will be obviously उनका जब तक पूरा वो हमारी स्लेट क्लीन नहीं होती उसका तो चैलेंज रहेगा ही रहेगा. Those challenges that we mentioned, that is what we are talking about. आपको पर इसमें कोई डिटेल में और अलग समझना हो तो more than happy to have a call separately and more than happy to take you through. Yes.
ठीक है. जिससे एक लास्ट चीज पूछनी थी सर, ये मतलब सो थर्ड क्वार्टर से वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ नॉर्मल execution and profitability quarter, at least for like historically how we have done. So third quarter, at least this impact will go away, right, of legacy. So it should be more of a normal quarter for us.
Yes, Parikshit, 100%.
Okay. Good to hear your voice, Devendra ji. Sir, एक just last चीज पूछनी थी कि inventory side में अभी जैसे हमारा execution because of several reasons have been in that range of 9,000 to 10,000 crores. तो भी इन्वेंट्री थोड़ी सी और बढ़ी है इस क्वार्टर में, बहुत मार्जिनली, तो कम अंडर कंट्रोल, इट्स नॉट इंक्रीजिंग सिग्निफिकेंटली नाउ. बट अगले साल में सर ये दिखता है कि 33,000-34,000 की इन्वेंट्री यहाँ से कम होगी, और बिकॉज दैट कुड प्ले अ बिग लेवरेज ऑन योर डेट.
Yeah, Parikshit, we are also trying. So in the quantity terms, we have reduced the but in the average price of term, it is around 3,400 crore. And our target is to reduce the inventory by this financial year end is around 2,900 to 3,000 crore. So we are making our best efforts to reduce the inventory.
Great, sir, great. Thank you and all the best. I hope we come back soon on better path to margins and profitability. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhupendra Purohit, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
हेलो.
Yes, Bhupendra ji.
या सर, हाँ मेरा सवाल है, हिंदी में मैं कंफर्टेबल हूँ. तो मेरे 2 सवाल थे. पहला सवाल तो ये था कि क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर जो लॉस आ रहे हैं, ये अभी मेरे को मोटा मोटा तो समझ में आ गया कि ये इन्वेंट्री की वजह से हो रहा है, बट ये कब तक नॉर्मलाइज हो जाएगा कि हम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हो जाएगा?
So Bhupendra ji, in quarter 3 we had incurred the losses due to the legacy project. In Q4 now we have ramped up, and this this has come to the almost zero. So 3 crore profit we have made. Now there is a legacy of 700 to 800 crore of the order book for this old project. So this now it will end in the coming 2 to 3 months. So from the Q3 onwards, you will see the normal execution in the normal market, which we have started.
Okay. And second question is कि debt reduction के लिए कुछ मतलब कुछ disinvestment कुछ ऐसा कुछ plan कर रहे हैं या
So we have already done the non-binding agreement, the same in which where we will be getting the InvIT units around 1,800 crores. So we will always have the opportunities that we can sell them in the market if you want to. We have already done that.
You have done already?
So already done the agreement with the Shrem InvIT, so we will get the unit of around 1,800 crore. So at any time, if you want to reduce the debt, so we can sell them because 1,800 is like the cash.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. I got it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next question is from the line of Raja Natarajan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for taking my question. Am I audible clearly?
Yeah, Raja, you are audible.
Okay. Sir, couple of questions regarding Bangalore to Mysore project. Is there any roadblock, in closing this, as we have recently seen some, land acquisition kind of issues?
So, राजा जी, इसमें लैंड एक्विजिशन के इशू अपने इंडिया में हर प्रोजेक्ट में होते हैं, लेकिन अभी ऑलमोस्ट उसके जो बेंगलोर से मैसूर के 2 पैकेज होते हैं हमारे, उसका पहला जो पैकेज है जो बेंगलोर से नडिगट्टा कहलाता है, उसका सीओडी जून मंथ में होने वाला है एंड द प्रोजेक्ट प्रोग्रेस इज अराउंड 98%. और इसका जो सेकंड पार्ट होता है उसकी प्रोग्रेस करीब 85% है. लैंड एक्विजिशन के छोटे छोटे इश्यूज होते हैं जो मीडिया वाले उसको देते रहते हैं, पर उसके कारण प्रोजेक्ट हेल्ड अप नहीं है, वो खत्म होने वाले हैं दोनों प्रोजेक्ट.
Okay. Thank you. And one more question, sir. Now, for the last 2 financial year, we have seen, especially South India projects, right? We have seen, couple of our projects are impacted because of, the rainy season, right? So do we have any special provision on the contract, or is it in our purview to ask for special permission?
Rajaji, if you're not able to understand your question, it is impacted by what you are saying, weather, rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is no special condition as per NHI in the contract for the rain. Okay.
Because we have seen this scenario and it is also impacting, most of our South India projects. So there is nothing we can.
Yeah. NHI doesn't account for this actually. Whatever they do for the other projects in the other region of the India, that the same conditions are applied to the projects floated by the NHI.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Jiten Rushi for closing comments.
We thank the participants for joining the earnings call. We thank the management for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, sir, and over to you for any closing remarks.
Thank you, Jiten. Thank you all the participants, our investors and partners for coming on the call and asking these questions. As always, we're always available. Please feel free to reach out to us personally, and if you have any more questions, our finance team would be more than happy to help you out. Look forward to seeing you for our next quarter call.
Thank you. On behalf of Axis Capital Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.